Hey, what's up guys? In this video I'm going to be going over the 3 synths in Ableton that do something called physical modeling. And what does that mean? That means that what these synths do is they model something in the real world. And the best example I can think of, because I have one beside me, is a drum. So say you wanted to make an instrument within Ableton or a synth or whatever that models a drum. You would have to model a couple things. There's a couple things that go into a drum sound. The object that you're using to collide with the membrane itself, and then the body that the sound resonates in. Any changes to any of these will change the sound. And mind you, these are approximations, much like, shadows in modern computer games aren't like down to the photon. They're approximations. You approximate where these shadows are going to be in these games. Same here. We're not making the Large Hadron Collider. We don't have the resources to do that. We don't have the resources to model the material accurately and how the sound bounces around the room and hits the mic. We can't do that, but we can make a really cool approximation and exaggerate and get some otherworldly sounds. So there's a lot you can do with physical modeled synths. So I'm going to be going over those right now as soon as I put this down. So let's start with the first one, which is collision. So collision is kind of what I was talking about. You have something hitting like a membrane. There's something called an exciter, and it resonates in a resonator. So we can have like a membrane here. And we can do stuff with that. We can add some noise via filter and adjust the attack with an envelope, right? Right? And we can exaggerate. A real instrument doesn't sound like that. Can you hear that? Right? And I might get into this a little bit later. I'm not an expert in what the synth does. I do know that you can get some really crazy sounds with it. So, we can just do like bells and things like that. So check out the presets for collision. Collision is more like a percussion type of instrument. But yeah, I'm going to see about getting into this a little bit later. But it's useful to know. Next up is electric. So I hemmed and I hawed about where to put this. And I was like, is it modeled? Well, it is. So this models electric pianos, which tried to model conventional pianos. So it's something that's physically modeling something that physically modeled something. So it's one of those things. But it's a classic electric piano sound that approximates, like those Fender Rhodes type of things. And I think it still applies to something that's physically modeled, just because of the essence of what it does. And, different damping, different pickups, distance, you can get it. You can really adjust something called timbre. Now, what timbre is it's the difference between sounds, how you can differentiate sounds. So like a kick drum's different than a snare because it has a completely different timbre, right? So there's presets in this for like different pianos, things like that. You just drag and drop on top of it. And you can just do some neat chords like that, put some reverb on it, you're good to go. And that is electric, which simulates, the electric pianos. So I hope that the category is correct. Next up is tension. So I'll put that in there. Tension it's true physical modeling, and it's capable of reproducing stringed things. So you have a string, and you can affect it by like a finger or a bow, and you can do all sorts of things. There's also body. You can emulate the body. You can use a piano body, guitar, violin, and things like that. You might want to dampen that, stuff like that. But yeah, you can get some like really interesting string sounds. So this is a violin made by a preset made by someone who's far more capable than me. And you can just do some things like that. You can also, the reason why these instruments are so interesting is because you get like unpredictable effects, and you can get like weird basses. Let's go down a couple octaves. And things like that. As an example, these don't typically use filters. They use complex approximations under the hood to make the sounds that they make. And yeah, it's going to be a challenge for me to kind of, well, not really, but like get all these and regurgitate the information so you can understand them a little bit later. But I just wanted to give you a brief introduction on the physical modeling instruments. They're all made by AAS. They make some really great stuff. And yeah, that was the modeled section: collision, electric, and tension. So I hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned stuff. Take care and have a good one.